One thing you might hear people say is cash trash? Like, especially with inflation, is it worthless to hold money in cash? Well, guess what? I'm going to address what billionaire investor Ray Dalio talked about. Many times we've heard people talk about cash is trash. Now, this is the opposite of guys like Dave Ramsey that say, where cash is king and debt is dumb, right? Well, he's talking about just being in simple cash and having some savings. But most people, when they talk about cash, they're always worried about losing to inflation because cash earns 0%. And if inflation's at 8 or 9%, and that's what they claim at least, that means you're really losing 8 or 9% a year. So it's been something that's been touted as really not a great thing to have. Ray Dalio, if you guys ever heard of the book Principles, he talks a lot about some of his philosophies in there. He manages a hedge fund. And many people look to him as someone that has credibility, right? Someone who's made some good calls when it came to the economics, made some good calls with his Bridgewater Investment Group and everything else. But the question is he always right? No. But what's interesting is that since 2020, he's been constantly telling people cash is trash. You're losing to inflation. Get out of cash, get invested in other places. Okay, so in early October, Ray Dalio said, guess what? I don't think cash is trash anymore. To be specific, he actually did a tweet. If you scroll down far enough past all the ads here, you'll see that he kept saying cash is trash since 2020, but then he tweeted, he says, that facts have changed and I've changed my mind about cash as an asset. I no longer think cash is trash. So that's what he had tweeted just there in early October. Now, he continues to say, here's why. He says that at existing interest rates and with the Fed shrinking the balance of the sheet, so basically as the Feds are tightening the money supply, it is now about neutral. Neither a very good or very bad deal, he continued. So he's not even saying that cash is awesome. He's just saying cash is not trash anymore. It's just cash is nothing. So he says, in other words, the short term interest rate now is about right. So he's saying, hey, Feds, I think the interest rates are good. Stop it. That's enough. Right. And the reason he's saying this is because over time, what's happening is as they get tighter on their policies, as they start to raise interest rates, this actually allows the US dollar to get stronger. Not because the US dollar is doing anything better, because we've been printing way too much money, way too far, way too fast, which has driven up inflation. Ironically enough, it's the Feds that created the inflation in the first place. And now they're trying to turn around and reverse it by raising interest rates to slow things down and trying to, it's like almost like they push the accelerator so hard and so fast. And then they're wearing down our brakes, like slamming on the brakes, putting your head through the windshield or into the dashboard because they want to make sure it comes under control. That's what they've basically done. So he's saying the US dollar is stronger. Why? Because the rest of the world was doing the same thing. Bank of Japan was printing money like crazy. The Bank of England was doing it. European Central Bank, everybody was printing their money like crazy, trying to keep themselves in a good position. Well, we are the first ones that actually start jacking up our interest rates while the rest of the world is just starting to follow suit. That makes the US dollar look better because we have higher interest rates. They want to invest in our bonds and our treasuries because we're paying more than them who have basically had nothing that they were paying on theirs. So everybody was starting to invest into the US dollar, into the treasury, and that is what allowed it to be better. So when he's saying cash is not trash, he's really referring to cash as the US dollar cash. But he's definitely not saying that you should just have cash, right? This is not talking about, like I said, Dave Ramsey was saying you should have your little baby step, $1,000 emergency reserve. We're not talking about that right here. Although that's important. You should have emergency reserve. But he's talking about cash as an investment, the US dollar specifically as an investment. Now, what does that mean for you? Because so what if Ray Dalio says something? Do we really care? Not not really. I mean, it is interesting because one of the things that we're not hearing right now is we're not hearing people say cash is a good thing. So what generally happens is before you see something actually become accepted by the media, accepted as truth. And usually when they accept it, it's long after the fact. Media, generally speaking, don't keep up with the times. They're just reporting what they're hearing everybody else say. And usually it's what the general public says, and the general public reacts slowly. The general public usually is too late. When something becomes hot, that's when you know it's not, right? When you hear that stocks are a good time to buy, that's usually after the stocks have already made a bunch of their money. Even right now, as we've seen stocks going down, you're just starting to hear them address it and saying, "Ooh, this is scary." But their sales saying, "Yeah, but we'll probably hit a bottom soon." So there's this optimism still within that bear market. That's how you know you haven't hit the bottom. So you got to make sure you're listening to what they're not saying. Because often, whatever they're saying to not invest in or what they're never talking about might be the very best thing to invest in. And I've been saying this for several months now is that the one thing you don't hear in the media because of inflation, because people are saying don't hold on to cash because you're losing money to inflation, put it somewhere else, invest it, make money off of it. That's what everybody's been saying. But not many people are saying keep cash liquid, are they? What if all of a sudden, because we created so much liquidity in the markets, we created this massive bubble that all of a sudden, when that bubble collapses and pops, does that mean those of us that actually have some cash, does that mean maybe we actually might be ahead of the curve? Maybe we'll have money when other people don't because they trapped it in certain types of assets. Maybe they threw the extra cash, which a lot of people did, threw it into the stock market saying, hey, might as well do it. This is how I knew the market was going too crazy is when I started hearing just average Joe people on Facebook, friends that I know that really aren't sophisticated in any way, shape, or form. Not that that's bad for them. I just know that money's not their thing, right? But when they start talking about, hey, I'm going to try to throw more money in the stock market, this sounds like a great place to go. Or I get random Facebook messages from people that are just starting out saying, hey, should I put money in the market? When beginning investors start saying, should I put money in blank? That is usually the time to get out of that thing. The stock market, I started hearing that in 2020 and 2021, made me nervous. Now, granted, I didn't have any money in the stock market at the time. I did have some money in cryptocurrencies that I'd made a lot of money off of in the sense that it had grown quite a bit since I bought it at a low in 2018. But the thing is, even then, when people are saying, "Oh my goodness, I should be buying some crypto," hey, you heard about this and that, and then you start hearing all these different alternative cryptos being popping up. That's when I knew, okay, time to get out of crypto. And especially when I realized the feds are probably manipulating the price, I thought this might be the good time to get out. Sold when it was in the high 40,000s after I bought when it was around 6,000, on my Bitcoin. It was a good decision considering that Bitcoin has come crashing on downward, right? That's the kind of thing is that when you start to hear the average person saying this is a good time, if you try to stay out of the emotions of it, right? This is why I don't try to pitch you guys on just one thing. I might talk a lot about real estate investing, but the truth is, it's not just real estate, right? I mean, we're talking about all kinds of different types of real estate investing, and I won't just talk about one because sometimes one's better than the other. There are different years where things come in and out of favor or have better returns than others. That's why it's good to stay in the know, to be well connected, to have a good team around you to help you be able to say, hey, where's the opportunity now? What should I be looking at currently? What are some good investments? What are some good people to invest with? That's what you should be doing. So, cash right now, is it trash? I don't think so. I think actually that cash is something that you should be liquid right now. So, what am I doing with my strategy to do that? Well, it's no surprise you've heard me talk about having an infinite banking policy where I use a whole life insurance policy. I get the minimal fees. We refer this as max ROI infinite banking. We get minimal fees coming out so we can have maximum gains in that cash value, that tax-free savings account that's in there. That tax-free savings account makes a lot more than the bank. Currently we're earning just about almost 6% gross on our dividend rate. That's much better. So the cool thing is instead of just keeping it at the bank where I'm earning, my bank right now is trying to pay 0.05% still on their savings account, paying me nothing, literally. Okay, we can keep a little money there. We have a little bit of money in the online savings account that maybe is earning about 1 to 2%. And then we've got the life insurance that has the bulk of our savings, even the money we're just keeping for emergencies, that's earning like over 5% net, even after insurance costs come out. And that's tax free, guys. So I'm making way more than getting taxed, even at the 1 or 2% on that savings account that I have there online. See, that's what I'm trying to use. And I'm also building it up. I'm actually not trying to leverage my life insurance as much. We're more investing our normal cash that we have in just checking and savings that is losing because it's just cash essentially, and keeping more of that liquid cash that we can invest in bigger opportunities later, also keeping that within the life insurance. So that's how we're using it. We're keeping it as an emergency fund and an opportunity fund and storing that up and building it up while still at least earning a return, not losing to inflation as much. Yes, we're not keeping pace with inflation, but that's okay because if it means that we've got money liquid available for those best opportunities, which I think are yet to come, I think 2023 and 2024, some of the best investments are going to show up and most people won't have the money to do it. This is the perfect time to get prepared right now. The question is, what are you going to do about it? I recommend maybe Ray Dalio might be onto something there. Maybe I might be onto something. Maybe having cash is key. What are your thoughts? Do you think cash is still trash? Do you think it's a good idea? What are your thoughts? Put those in the comments below. Like this, subscribe to our channel, and then check out our other video, Return of the Stock Market. I was right. Another thing I like to be right about. If it does happen occasionally, my wife reminds me of that all the time. Go check out that video. I was right about the stock market.